Right, so it's 3 p.m. and we are all set to begin with our today's webinar. Once again, I welcome all our participants to this exciting series where HR Association of India, along with Great Manager Institute, brings before you the 2022 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Leading People in the Current Times. Great Manager Institute conduct a great people manager survey in India and have come up with the list of top 100 managers. And the recognition is powered by Forbes India and Great Manager Institute, where we are fortunate to have five managers from the esteemed list who would be sharing their success stories, mantras, hits and misses, and achievements over leading their team in current times. To know more about HR Association of India and Great Manager Institute, I would request all our participants to visit the link posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It's my privilege to introduce Mr. Smit Joshi, CEO of Green Apex Technolabs. I would also like to congratulate him over this achievement. Smith Joshi started Green Apex from scratch and built it into a 120 plus employee company within 7 years. Having helped 200 plus clients across the world, his core expertise remains with business and communication, where he is involved himself with marketing, sales, recruitment, and strategy. As a leader, Smith is known for his capability to nurture and build a team, resulting in the fast growth of his organization. You can follow him on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Once again, congratulations, sir. We are extremely excited to have you here. Over to you.
Thank you, Faisal. Uh, so, how is everyone? Hope everyone is being doing good. So, uh, before we move ahead, uh, I welcome all of you and thank you so much for the warm introduction, Faisal. And before we move ahead, I'll just give you a quick introduction about myself. Faisal has covered most of the points and most of the achievements, but I'll still put some of it. So I'm a computer science engineer by myself. I started working with the companies in the start of my career. I started working companies like in Atos, American Express, State Street Bank UK, and after that I started my own venture called Green Apex in 2014. And after that, since that, I never looked back on my entrepreneurial journey. Majorly, my core expertise is business communication, sales, marketing, and specifically recruitment. So those areas I cover in my day-to-day job. Apart from that, in 2019, I have started one more startup, I would say, which is called Explore.ai, which is right now a metaverse based company. And we are working with the top brands in the world to create their metaverse stores and working on different metaverse areas. So this is about me and my work. Definitely, I've been recognized as a top 100 managers of by Forbes India and Great Manager Institute. So specifically, it was a process that has been followed, and I'm really proud of that. I would say recognition. Moving forward, I think I'll just move forward with the specifically our agenda. So just to start with, I just want you to know that whenever, as per the Indian Medical Research Association, after the bypass surgery, only 10% of heart patients change their lifestyle. Okay, so this is a very uh, tragic fact that how can people not change even though you go through the major surgery? Because people hate changes, and whenever the change comes in anyone's part or anyone's life, be it an organization, be it a career, or be it anything, people always resist to change first. So that is the most important part, and we are going to talk about when the times are changing and when you change the organization rapidly, how you can scale up, how you, whether you are working in an organization as an executive, whether you are at the bottom level, whether you're at the mid level, or whether you're at the executor level, it doesn't matter, because point is you have to deal with your colleagues, you have to deal with your superiors, you have to deal with someone who is reporting to you. So basically, it matters to each and everyone that during the changing time, uh, how you're collaborating with each other. So most important thing that I feel is, I would say that whenever you become a leader, basically you need to handle much higher levels of ongoing responsibilities for people, resource, and results, and the stakes are high, but so are the satisfaction and the pride that come from the serving people or helping them succeed or adding significant value to them. So usually, what I believe is the first factor or first a point that matters in any relationship or any corporate relationship or anywhere, that is the trust. The first point that comes in the leadership, that is a trust. So how can you build a trust, or how you are focusing upon the trust? So basically, there are three factors that happens, or that increases the trust, or that depicts the trust level, I would say. One is reliability, one is credibility, and third is connection. Okay. So reliability, so you need to be someone who can be counted upon. So when you are dealing with the teams, let's say, if I'm dealing with my team, and if the team is not reliable on me, or you have to show up on time, be prepared, and sometimes over deliver as well. So make commitments, follow through, close the loop on all expectations. So these are the basic things that increases the reliability with your team. And if sometimes you fall short, or you doesn't deliver, that's fine. Do whatever it takes to the right and communicate it well. So that's the reliability part. Second is credibility. So always bring value to the table. Know what you're supposed to know. Okay. Do what you're supposed to do in, specifically learn all you can learn about your business, your work, your current job description, everything that you need to do, and make yourself credible towards either your superior or to the teams that you are working with. Okay. And third is the connection. So connection is all about your rapport and relationship with the others. So learn something from each other, try to interact with your team, try to interact with them, try to interact with what matters to them, help them to get it, whether whatever the matters to them, are you able to help them to get it. That's the most important part and gives you a good connections. You need to listen, understand, and give, and do this every day, and I think you will make a good connections with each and everyone. So I think I have made my 4 disciplines into this specifically, where each of disciplines defines my day-to-day work. And when I'm talking about the disciplines, it is about a continuous daily activity, not something that you do for a one day or practice it for one day. It always has to be embedded in your lifestyle whenever you are at the office. Okay. So first discipline is always a set directions. So whenever you are saying, when I'm leading, so first of all, it has to be setting a direction. So if I want to go to, let's say, Mumbai, so I cannot take a flight to Delhi. That's the simple thing. So basically, until and unless your team or you doesn't know that where everyone is heading, then it will be not a proper output, or it will not a result driven output. So set direction is simply, where are you leading us? So once Omar Bradley said that, set your course by the stars, not by the lights of every passing ship. So your North Star metric always has to be, on that part where you have a fixed North Star metrics, that every company has North Star metrics, and you have to focus on that. All right. So when I'm talking about North Star metrics, so let's say if I'm talking about the any company like an Uber, so they have a number of weekly trips or daily trips. Or if I'm talking about a Zomato as an example, so they have a number of daily orders or number of hourly orders. So those are their North Star metrics, which every department in the company directly or indirectly supporting to increase. So make sure your team follows that on that North Star metric, and make sure you set the direction right. Apart from that, second is, once you set the direction, second is motivate the commitment. So if someone is committing something to you, or why someone should give you a best effort. So once you start motivating the commitment, then it will become a very easy for you to, you can make a convincing case and embody the inspiration on someone else. All right. So commitment, and when someone is giving you a commitment, always try to motivate them on that. Okay. So that's the second point. Third point is always a focus on result, but don't drive for it. So results are important, but change happens. Okay, so what happens? Changes, challenges, and crises will come. You must prepare, to adapt and endure, prevent us from giving an excuses, navigate and fatigue. So I would say whenever I just read one book of William Arthur, and it said that the pessimist always complains about the wind, the optimist expects it to change it, and the realistic always adjusts the sails. So I would say that whatever the situation is there, you always need to change the your company's direction on that, even though it's a bad, whether it's a COVID-19, whether it's anything else, where companies policy changes, companies government policy changes, you have to focus on that. Okay. And fourth and most important is you have to develop yourself into that. So how do you equip yourself for the journey, for yourself? Leading others is a voyage, I would say, in the outer world with tangible results. But as an executive leader or as a leader, your ability to master the disciplines and enables you to fulfill the uh, aim that you desire specifically for this areas. Okay, hope I'm not going too fast. If I'm going fast, you can raise a hand or put in the chat board if I'm going at the right pace.
No, no, you're going at the right pace, Mr. Smith. It's fine.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So, so now talking about the setting the direction. So first part in the setting the direction. So I'll explain each discipline in a little bit more manner. So one is strategic thinking. So whenever you are saying, whenever you are becoming a leader, you aspire to become a leader. So a most important thing is how you strategically think and how you think beyond the regular scope of work. Okay, so thinking ahead in time, thinking ahead in space. So usually they think in a leaders think in a disciplined way about the future. They think beyond their task and team. They consider the implication for their organization as a whole, as competitors, the economy, and the social implications, even global developments. You need to take care of those areas, and that's the strategic thinking. All right. So it reveals the problems and possibilities most others miss. Okay. So there's one example for this. There's one CEO of Glenn Barros, I'm sorry, CEO of Concord Music. So what he does is he went to the Starbucks, and previously what Starbucks was doing is they were purchasing licensed music from someone else and playing in their stores. Now he proposed to the Starbucks that we should make our own albums and make our own recordings instead of licensing from various artists or various other record companies. Now, first thing is that is a very innovative kind of partnership because he was holding a music group and he was having a very much expertise into the music group. Second, the first artist he proposed was the Ray Charles. I'm not sure everybody can relate to that, but I was listening to his music. So Ray Charles is a very famous name, but whenever he suggests his name for the first artist, he was at the end of his career and his new record was not selling much, and it was a perfect time for him to new release. So, and third thing is Barros proposed a duet album. So one of the first of its type, and the diverse list of prominent artists wants to duet with the Ray Charles, and it becomes a massive success after that. Okay, so only for this specific album, they got 8 Grammy Awards in this year. I think I forgot the name. Okay, the album name is Genius Loves Company. Okay, so it receives the 8 Grammy Awards within that year, including the album of the year. So whenever you are at the different areas, and whenever you are having whenever, whether you're working with someone, or whether you're leading the company, or whether you are at the mid level, or whether you are the executive level, you always need to think about what could be the possible opportunity, or what could be something beyond what I'm thinking, or how can something affect my job and can increase my effectiveness. So I'll tell you how. So to enhance your strategic thinking specifically, here's you need to do. You need to listen to interviews with the CEOs and business leaders, pay close attention to how they talk about their choices, their future plans. You need to read the annual reports of the firms in and out of your industry, study their strategies specifically, and push your own thinking, and don't wait for someone else to do it for you. Ask lots of what if questions. What if questions are most important because they generate a different scenarios in your regular life. Like, let's say, what if if you were the CEO, what would you do in this situation? What if you were in charge of the competitor's firm, and so forth. So interact consistently with other creatives and strategic thinkers, and find these people, take initiative, post questions, not notice the thought process. I would say it is more of your own thinking expansion, but by learning and by talking with these people, you'll have a more and more idea, and you can expand the breadth of your point of view. The second most important thing in the setting the direction and moving forward is, I would say, a courage and decisiveness. So uh, one of the world's leading global executive search firms did an extensive study, and after assessing thousands of CEO candidates over the years and examining in detail who succeeded and who failed, the research revealed a key success factor was acting decisively and courageously. Why? So why it is like that? Why courageously and decisively is more important? Because anyone can play it safe, do nothing notable, right, and blend in. But when senior leaders are vague, wishy-washy, people lose confidence, and motivation or organization flounder. So how can you follow someone who won't choose a direction? So choosing a direction in a decisiveness and proper courageous way, it's the most important thing. When your senior leaders, when when people around you has no direction, and it is like they are having, let's do this today, or let's do this tomorrow. So every 3 days companies vision changes, so that doesn't work. So how can you have to have proper courageous and decisiveness towards the one directions. Hope I'm clear on this. So as a leader, I will put it in this way: the toughest choices get usually pushed up to me, and if I'm making a lot of easy decisions, then I'm not doing my job. Okay, so basically, if I feel that I'm making a very easy decisions, then I'm not doing my job, I'm doing someone else's for them. I need to make decisions others shy away from. So it's not easy. It's one of the reasons Thomas Jefferson called leadership that splendid misery. So uh, in a leadership, it is not all about making friends. Sometimes you lose friends as well, because you need to make a decisions whether it is healthy for everyone, or it is convenient for everyone or not. So basically, it is more of your vision, company's vision, and matching up on that, rather than making each and everyone part of it. So sometimes you have to take a harsh decisions on that. So I can say that it's kind of a daily loss of certain friends that can happen at the leadership level, but that is not much nowadays. So in recent surveys, if I have seen a lot of interviews with the CEOs, and I follow a lot of them. So uh, what is the most important question is, what's most surprising about their role as a CEO or as a leader. So it's mostly loneliness and making difficult decision is consistently on the list. So executive leadership calls for the courage to take a stand despite pressure, complexity, competing priorities, ambiguity, and resistance. So here's how to do it. Get in the habit of making sharp, clear choices and articulating why you made them. So basically, it is really important to retrospect specifically why you made them. So basically, if I articulate a strong decision, but if I don't ask or I don't explain someone to why, why you have to do that. I tell you, I'll ask my team that, hey, I need this presentation by today anyhow. And I'll say that, hey, our client is waiting, and by 8 I have to propose it. So by 6 I need to review it, and just a little bit explanation, but that makes a little bit more, a motivation towards the work to them. So why is also important when you are taking courageous decisions. So this is it. I would say about the courageousness and areas. But whenever you are into, I would say decisiveness, or you don't have an, courageousness or decisiveness, always stay regularly in touch with people outside your team or business whose judgment you trust, and call them up. Don't I usually do it by myself. I call my mentors, I call my, family sometimes, whom I trust most in a business decisions, and I'll take a decision, but not mandatory to follow them, but understand the different perspective when you are not really sure. That is the best way to do it. uh, so whenever the tough time comes, so third important thing is reframing, in a setting a direction. So reframing is why it is important is, especially like, I would say, during the times of stress or change, it's natural for people to focus on, overcome their sense of me rather than the we. So whenever I'm talking about me, the things will not work. So it is more important, I'm sorry, it is more important to follow up on, or get to, you need to lead from me to we. That is more important. So here is the, I would say, a 3-part sample framework that I have created. So whenever I am discussing with someone, or I'm into talk with someone, I always create a framework with my team that first thing is past, second is present, and third is future. So past is always about what we have done right. So from the past, what should we be most proud of from our past? That's the one thing. Second is, you need to emphasize on the best part of, where we come from, what we have done the best. Even if you're talking with a team member, and you need to convince him to show him some vision, or it's a strategic meeting, then always start from, you have to start with an optimistic approach, where in the past, what are the most good achievement of us. Apart from that, emphasize the, you need to emphasize the best part of the past, and then you need to focus upon the present. What are the current opportunity in the present, or challenges in the present? So what are the most important challenges and opportunities we face in the present? And to have a credibility, it's important to acknowledge realistically what we currently have, instead of avoiding the problems that everyone knows about, and opportunities that many might not see. And based on those current opportunities, take up the third question, which naturally comes next, that what are our inspiring ambition for the future? Okay. So instead of dominating our focus on what's wrong, or merely surviving on the short term, what we will do is give a people a powerful possibility to live into. So I will say that, I'll give you an example of it. One of my friend, who was having an IT company, and due to certain reason, he has to cut his company to the half. After he had to cut his headcount and budget in half, and downsizing during an economic turndown, usually the leaders become very demoralizing, because they, like, they feel that their failure inside, because they think that I was not able to survive on this, or I was not able to make it through it, or kind of in a, you have a dismissal feeling from your side. So what this guy does is, he goes to the company, and he talk with each and everyone, and he used this framework, that past, present, and future specifically. And he said that, okay, first part, he said that we have been through the tough times recently, but that doesn't erase what we have accomplished. So it doesn't erase what we have accomplished, and the strong legacy we have inherited. So basically, he focused upon what we have done good, okay, to build on. Okay. Then he said that, and also he mentioned some of the R&D group's achievement going forward, and he mentioned all the achievement going forward, I was listening to his part in that. So then he said that now we are fighting to prove our worth to this organization. If we rise to that challenge, we will secure an influential place in the strategic planning process in future. And that's how we point out all the problems in the current task, that this is the problems, these are the budgeting issue, this is the part. And the third part about the future, where you know specifically he mentioned about uh, he said that we got our sights and set on even more than that, and we can be the engine that drives, I would say, our firm to industry leadership. So basically the point is his major perspective what, how we can improve this company and what is the end result for that. So I think this framework always works when you are in a vision, or you are trying to show vision to someone. Always try to focus on what has done in the past, what are the challenges currently, and if it is opportunity, definitely talk about it. Then talk about your vision. So that becomes a easier thing. So when you practice it, you will get a very good at generating a sharp, straightforward statements from the people. Okay, whenever you are talking, either you're giving a speech, or either you are even talking with the business unit or organization as a whole. So always try to focus on that on a more optimistic approach, and this will like uh, uh, create a good impression and create an easy way to make someone understand your vision. Okay. So once Franklin Roosevelt said that a good leader inspires others with confidence in him, a great leader inspires them with the confidence in themselves. So basically, it is more important to create a confidence within the people rather than showing your own confidence. So that is more important. So good leaders are having their own confidence and people follow them. And the great leader always make sure that their team is also confident enough. The people who you work with, they are most confident enough, and they follow those criteria onto specific areas. And a fourth and last most thing in a setting a direction is having a shared vision. So I think everybody agrees that without the destination you cannot start your car, and without shared vision or without purpose, it has to be inclusive. It is not something that, hey, I want my salary to be $1 million next year. That should not be a purpose vision or anything. People will people will find it very selfish, and it doesn't um, uh, it is not an inclusive vision. Or even though you say that vision is something where you say that I want to make this company a $1 million, still it will not work. You have to show the inclusive vision where growth is the part of each and everyone's pocket. Okay. It is not something that only company, but everyone should be part of it. Or whenever you are sharing with that person, you have to show it in a growth manner. All the factors where company's growth, your growth, and also that person's growth comes in a picture. So a shared purpose is most important part to go forward. Okay. So this is it. And now I think I'll move to the next part or next framework. Okay. So specifically, whenever I was I was into the sports training, and when not right now, but when I was in young college days, I was training for the sports like badminton and PT. So one of the success head coaches in my history said that crucial part of the leadership, he makes me learn, not a direct statement, but a crucial part of leadership is having people look at you and gain confidence. So whenever someone is looking at you and having a confidence, okay, and seeing how you react. So basically, if you are in control, they are in control. If you are not, they are not. They lose confidence in themselves and in you. So suppose, let's say you are coach of football team, and you're going there and in the start of match, and you are not having that confidence, or you cannot say that, hey, I know my team will perform the best today. Then the team will not perform. At least if you cannot say that, the team will not get a moralization or anything motivation. So this comes to the second framework, where motivation through leadership in an image part. So basically, how you can set up your image, where when, because you are a leader, you are visible to large number of people, often in a small slices of exposure. And the most important and fearful thing for the leader is, if I'm doing something wrong, people will get it easily and people will follow that. So, but don't worry, this is very learned ability and you have to focus on that. So with practice, you can manage that, inner turmoil and project yourself as someone fully capable of handling even the toughest times. Look, if you know the solution or if you don't know the solution, that's a different story altogether. But showing people that we can do it, or at least having, ability, or showing them confidence that we will be able to solve it, that is more important, because that gives them a more, I would say, emotional level support, and more confidence in the leader, and then they will be able to achieve it. So I would say, what you need to do is, here's how you can do it. Break it down into managing your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Okay. uh, Directing your thoughts towards the number one positive priority of your situations. So number one priority cannot be winning an argument. Okay. Or number one priority cannot be getting back at someone or being right, especially if it makes others look bad or feel embarrassed. Because I have seen the leader, because usually if I am in a tough time, I am in a very stressed situation, people shout at each other and they get an inner satisfaction to, get it. I am right at this point, or I am winning the argument somewhere. Okay, so it is like, if I'm losing here, I'm trying to win somewhere where I have a more control, but that is not the ideal thing to do. So number one priority is always about, focusing on your shared purpose, focus your thoughts, not your inner unease, or on what matters most for the group or company. And then you have to direct your feeling toward the determination. So that is the most important part, right? So as I mentioned to you guys, that it is more important whenever you are talking with the team, they has to feel the confidence. They has to feel, even though you are at executive level, it has to be motivation enough that people think that this guy will able to solve it, or it has an personality to do that, or at least show the trust within the team that, okay, I know that even though it's a tough time, people can do it. So it is always important to have a smile on face, and focus on, more of a confidence building activity before you go actually into the, solution, or troubleshooting any problems that comes in a mind. Apart from that, specifically, I would say, uh, quietly related, but I would say, most important is energizing and empowering. Okay, so how it is different from that? Confidence is a different story, but it is important to, energize the people as well as an empower. You need to do both. Energizing people without empowering them can leave them frustrated. Okay, so I'll give you a motivation, but I'm not empowering you with work or something like that. It will not work, because even though you are motivated, but you are not having a right direction, right area to work upon. So ultimately it will be frustrating journey for you. Empowering them without energizing, also it can be overwhelmed, but it is not going to work around. Okay, so whenever I was talking with the, Intuit founders, and he mentioned to me that, because I was working with one of the project where, development project with him, while I was, outsourcing, we were outsourcing partner with them. So he mentioned to me that, one statement which I always uh, remember, that nothing good happens with the product team unless they are excited. So when I'm saying that, it is, more of an, he follows that whenever it is more important to have them excited to get a good result. So energizing and, specifically, empowering each other, that is the more important part. Okay, so uh, that is the part. Apart from that, most important thing that I feel, that whenever you are encouraging or empowering someone, always focus on a personal excellence. Okay, so a leader is someone who sees more potential in others than they see in themselves. So whenever leaders need to unleash the full potential of the people around them for their current performance or their future growth. You you want to be the strongest advocate for your people's best selves, because if you don't believe in them, it's harder for them to believe in themselves. Try to give their best effort. uh, I would say that recently one of my client calls up, and well, this is a good example from her side. So there was one issue with the app, and they called up and say that, hey Smith, this is not working. And she was on a holiday. I said, okay, I'll come back to you. After 5 minutes I call up, and she said to me, Smith, I totally trust you. You take your decision, whatever you feel like, and let me know whenever I'm coming back to office tomorrow. Let me know status. I'm looking forward to talk with you. So even though we are not in the same organization, I feel very empowered towards it, or I feel very happy about it, because I feel that you know whatever, she has 100% trust on me, and she gave me a power to take a decision as well. So that's the greatest thing. When I would say, whenever you are dealing with someone, give them a complete power, give them a complete trust areas, and empower them with their personal excellence. So if they have a great decision making power, they will use it, and it will helpful for you, even for you, in a pressure cooker like a situation. So uh that's the more of an empowerment. Apart from that, I would say, if I'm talking about the motivation and commitment, you need to, within an organization, you always need to create a collaboration opportunities. So if you're talking with your team, or talking about your team, it is not about their job roles or anything. Or I would say that, how to get people to work together effectively at all levels of the organization. Thinking and contributing beyond one's role is what senior leaders are looking for, and in future senior leaders. So in future specifically, how can you create a more collaboration? This is more of a, this is more comes at the mid level and executive level. So here's what to do. So what you can do is reach out to the people beyond beyond your direct task. Ask about their priorities, offer to help, and then follow through. Okay, so you will stand out in a very positive way, set an example, showing others how to do it by doing it. Other than that, you need to, second part is, you have to take an initiative to reach out to your key peers also routinely. Ask for a feedback, suggestions usually. So my the best thing about the teams that I have is, if I miss the feedback meeting, they always push me towards it, and they are very pretty excited about the feedback meetings. So whenever feedback meetings are there or suggestions are there, always go back to your peer and ask immediately that how I'm doing. Or it is important for everyone to understand that whether it is as per the aligned vision or not. So that's the more of a collaboration. And also you can follow up on the cross functional initiatives, like uh, let's say I'm from marketing, but I also take part in conferences or workshops that is handling on the executive level, like on a developer level. Okay, because I'm really excited about what is happening in the technology. I grow up my knowledge, even though I go for accounts, I go for any department that I feel like. So being a leader, it is important to go forward to the cross functional initiatives, even though it's not your role. Sometimes it's not your role. Suppose I'm at a CMO, I'm CTO, and I'm thinking that my job is technical. Why should I go to the marketing, or why should I go to this? And that should not be the case. So hopefully this is clear to you, everyone, right? uh, Apart from that, the most important thing is, which I learned from my one of the co-founder at Green Apex, is developing the others. Okay, so while I was a big fan of, if you have all have an IT background, I was a big fan of hiring lateral people, 3 plus years, 5 plus years, 10 plus years. Why not we hire that? And at the same time, my co-founder believes that we should go out to the freshers, hire them, train them, make them industry ready, and they will do wonders for us. And I was not I was not in much support at that time, and I was feeling that, okay, why do invest in someone where you don't have a certainty, okay, where you don't, as an organizer, you always think that I'm paying someone salary, have to get an ROI. So how will I get an ROI out of it? So but fortunately or unfortunately, and I would say fortunately, we move up with the hiring of freshers, and we hired around 35 freshers and we trained them. And within a 6 to 8 months, they start placing into different projects, and I got amazing returns. They were not that, because they are at the, they are at the certain, they are at the start of their journey, they are cost effective. Second is, whenever you are having a fresh blood, they are more excited about the project, they are more, enthusiastic and giving a much more than we thought of. And after that, we have realized that, okay, this guy have a tremendous you know possibility of growing. So we created an internal mentor program within the organization. So internal mentor program is to, helping each other through the technology, helping each other through a different area. So you can choose your own mentor within the organization, and every mentor will have a quarterly meeting with their mentees, and everybody will talk. So basically, it is not a project manager or kind of an authority kind of a relationship, but it is more about a collaborative way to learn, where you choose the person whom you want to learn with it, and everybody has to be part of it. So somehow we put it in a way, you you can be a mentor to three people, but you also have to choose your mentor. Okay, so that's how it we have organized this, and it works pretty well for us in areas or in different areas. And everybody got everybody got excited about this. And whenever the mentors meetings are there, everybody has fun and a lot of excitement and a lot of talk about the new technology, what should we learn, what are the courses that we should do. So basically, you always need to develop others and grow others in terms of your own growth. That is the most important thing. And to attract and keep the best people, it is crucial that this flows to every management level. you know uh, there's what I was reading one this thing, Stanford newsletter, and Bob Sutton points out that you know good bosses create employee satisfaction that leads to the retention, performance, productivity, and profitability. So what else do you need as an organization? So basically, major problem right now is people are not happy within the organization. Retention is the, you have a great resignation mode right now going on everywhere. Even if you are from the IT, everybody has faced it, that everybody is, on a more focused towards that. So I think he mentioned that, okay, always try to make sure that employee satisfaction, and even though people who you work with, leads to retention, performance, and specifically a profitability and productivity. That's the most important part. Okay, so I'll tell you one story of mine. So how, and whenever you are saying that, whenever you are specifically telling people that what to do. So there is one a designer of mine who came up with an one Illustrator based design for the website, and I was not happy with it. Okay, so I was not happy with it. I said that, okay, why do you need this design? Because this looks rubbish to me. I don't think this will work. Okay, and I was very demotivating to him, and I later realized, and what I did is, the next day I asked him to put this design on a 1 week trial. If it doesn't work, then we will move out. Okay, but surprisingly it doesn't happen, and after a 1 week it got a lot of signups. So basically it was almost 3x or 4x, I would say, on a sign up side. So I would say it is not about always what you are, whether you are right or whether you are wrong. It is all about whether you are right or wrong, it will always go to the right direction. You have to accept it because that person was right at that time. That it leads to that. But you have to accept it. You have to make sure that, okay, you are not having this perspective, and you have to go forward with that. So that's the most important part in any leadership. Okay, now I think I have 2 3 topics much more left, so I'll We have a 15 minutes, right? Or
Yes, we have 15 minutes. Uh,
okay,
yeah.
okay. So I'll just quickly go on to the couple of things. Day-to-day thing, most important thing for me is apart from the all the things is prioritization. So when I'm saying a prioritization, I have hundreds of things coming towards me in a day, this thing, that thing, and different departments comes with their own approvals, their own prioritization. There are problems, there are clients who are coming to us. So basically the point is, uh, when Steve Jobs left the Apple and he rejoins the back, what he used to do is he conduct annual retreats with the key leaders, and on the last day he usually asks that what are the 10 things that we should be doing next. And after lengthy and vigorous debate, he would capture the group's list of 10 things on a whiteboard, and he would only choose the three. He will say that I will go with this three by discussion. So same way at the task, you cannot focus on many more things. So you have to find your top three prioritization at the organization level, at the daily level, at the weekly level, or whatever the planning level you have. Right? There are many things that will come. So there are some urgent thing and there are some important things. So understand the difference between the urgent and important, right? So urgent things are urgent is time bound, important are value driven, right? So you need to decide at the what time what you need to do, but don't create your priorities more than three at any point of time. Otherwise, it is not going to work. For me, it doesn't work. I haven't seen anybody who has created a more than that priority. I'm talking about a goal level priority, not something like an I would say priorities like in a I have to bring the groceries and not something like that. I'm talking about a more overall long term goals. You say that, right? So whenever I'm saying that, okay, for the organization, my long term goals are, so I will say that one thing is employee retention, that is a major goal. Second is marketing ROI, something like that, or I want to expand into the GCC market. And third is I would say Meta is the new technology where I want to create one more vertical. Okay, so basically that should be clear for the 6 months for me, that this is my goal overall and this is my prioritization to work upon that. Okay, in a day-to-day thing, many things come, but make sure that you prioritize only three things at a time. So this is the key area I would say, because whenever you are moving to leadership level or whether you are sticking to the leadership level, it is more important to stick to that uh, priorities maximum at threes. I If we would have an interesting session, because in the company usually I ask, and I with the teams also I will ask that what are your top three priorities in order. I always ask in my meeting, and you also should ask your team. You also ask your people that hey, what are your top three priorities right now. And either it can be personal, either they will say, the team will say either it's a personal, either it's someone says hey, my marriage is up, I want to complete that, this or whatever the case. Point is it will help you to give them a perspective of lot of things that they are going through, right? So it might not be a workplace, then you can cover up that okay, you know what, these are the our priorities, but we can embed some into that, and this is how you can grow. So you have to connect the dots then, your priorities or your goals towards them, right? So this is the most important thing. Other than that, what I believe is the most area where people fail is influence without the authority. So whenever I'm saying an authority always gets to the work, but authority doesn't inspire anyone. Okay, if I'm saying that hey, I am your boss and you have to do it, or you are reporting to me, you have to do it. It will work, but it will not work in a motivated or a growth manner. Okay, either the people or you will get a lot of retention, lot of resignation after that, or either you will have your colleagues will, or I would say the people who are reporting to you will be fed up with you, or they'll just work for the sake of it. They will not have an enthusiasm for that. So influencing without the authority is you know more important. So I would say that driving for results often gets people noticed and promoted up to the point, but then how they drive for results suddenly becomes a make or break factor for them. So let's say, uh, I would say he's a great developer, buddy, or he is a great person, great HR, or I would say he is a great HR right now. And let's move him to more strategic role. Let's say RMG, okay, a resource management group. So I'm not sure whether everybody can relate to it, but at least HRs can relate to that. So uh, let's keep him in RMG or something like that, where RMG is a more strategic role, or where you have a lot of park. But he was hardworking, so you promoted him or her into different criteria. But sometimes people think that this is how it was working hard and talking with people in this way, then it will work, but it's not true. So whenever you move up or you change things, it will kill your career if you don't influence others and you just try to do it with authority. Okay. So I would say that what worked for you before can work against you after. So uh, there's one famous book of Peter Drucker, I think Seven Habits or something like that. It says that the executive who keeps on doing what he has done successfully before is almost bound to fail. So basically, every task and every area of work is a new opportunity. You need to think it through again and again. Otherwise, you will either go on a repeating work, or you will not innovate, or you will not grow yourself, or either it is not going to work for company. So then it can be anything. So usually at the talent reviews, the organization, often heard everyone that, hey, he gets things done, he gets work done, but he is not having any good relationships. He's damaged relationships with each other, or you know I work for her but I don't follow her or him, whatever. So those are the cases happens, and especially in this area, uh, if happens if you are not influencing the people and you are just trying to make sure to work on authority. So it's a simple thing. I ask a lot of people that why do you don't want to work with her or him. So he said that if someone treats you badly, you don't want to help them succeed. That's the simplest thing. So to get things done like the best executives do, don't rely on the power, status of your position, or merry rules or regulation. Even if you have authority, influence without the authority, right? So use a forward thinking influence plan that helps you get the best results without damaging relationships. The connection is the most important thing here. It will help. So you have an approach that, okay, what other person wants, what do you want, and how it can be connected. Okay. Or I would say I have created a 4-step approach in that. But I would say you have to understand that person much more, that what do they value, what are their concerns and fear, what are their goals and plans, what are their driving motives. Okay, so once you understand that person and then try to influence them, it becomes a really easy to talk with them and just make a connection and try to influence them. If you are trying to do with authority, it will not work on a longer term. So authority just gives you a work, but it doesn't gives you a success plan on that. Okay. So, and I would say a last point, which is the most important part, is when I say that about the designs and part is third is you have to cultivate the creativity within your team. So cultivating the creativity is, you know uh, how curious is your team, are they asking the question. So sometimes my team asks that, why do you work like this? And I feel very, you know if you're a leader and if you're on the authority, you might feel that offended about it, or you might feel about it, but you have to go into the thinking ground back to the work and try to answer them. It will also clear your own mentality. Okay, because sometimes you don't ask yourself why, and if someone is coming and your team is asking why, so that is the most important. You have to encourage those, and it also gives you them a lot of ideas. They will also put their perspective. So creativity is not only about, I would say, I would say it is not about only thing that artistic people do, or more of a designing part. It is within the team, how you can implement or change the process thing, doing the same thing with a different perspective sometimes. So I'll give you one more example. While I was working with one of the marketing campaigns while we were visiting, one of the expositions in Dubai. Okay, so uh, we were not having any experience, we were not having anything, and we were discussing with the team, and we made all the posters, we made all the, we made all the digital displays and everything. We are ready to go. And what we did in the last is we asked our some of the people from the operation team to review that, okay, or some of the people to discuss that with them, in a technology manner, that okay, how we can discuss the technology on that. And then we got a lot of good whys and if, and they said that this is not going to work. And somehow what we have done is we have changed the technology perspective. And apart from that, one of the most important factor that we missed is we haven't written anything in Arabic. So that was the most, because you're going there, because you are in someone's country, you have to focus on the native language, because it has to feel local, right? It has to feel that it should feel like some foreign companies are coming and saying something. It has to feel local. They should feel like, okay, this is something very friendly to me, because everybody is like, focusing on content and everything, but nobody focus on that. So whenever you talk with the team, some, even the operation guy, or even the, I would say, a simple person in the office who's an account executive, gives you a different perspective about different process. So always try to focus and discuss the communication plus process to everyone else whom you are meeting within the organization, that this is what I'm thinking, what do you think about it. Everybody has a different perspective. You can adopt it, not adopt it, that is up to you, but this is the only way you can add a creativity within your process. Because corporate, that usually creativity is a different story, comes in the marketing, but the point is also in the corporate process we build a different creativity areas, right? Let's say the HR people usually use creativities to engage people, or different areas works around. So so we were thinking, like, let's say let's engage people in metaverse because everyone was working from home. So this is called a creativity, and that comes from the metaverse team. That we I said that that was a strategic plan. But there's one tool called Get Out of Town, and we explored it, and this is for you guys as well. That we explored it, and it's a wonderful tool. It's a 2D thing, but it creates a virtual environment. And whenever you are sitting next to each other, you have to sit on somewhere on desk, and whenever you're sitting next to each other, your screen is open to everyone. Suppose, let's say you are in criteria cafeteria, so it creates a lot of engagement activity for us. But that comes from the metaverse team. So everybody has to be putting their opinion on that, and creativity is the most important thing. And okay, I think I have just move to the last and the most important part, that I think that it should be there. I already told you guys, but this is the most important. Try to create a connection with your team, because if you're not having connections, if you're not connecting with them, if you're not talking with them, if you're just doing everything with authority, it is not going to work at all. So there are different examples of different areas. I read a lot of books on it, just theories around it. So and also you guys should read, and different CEOs interview, different leaders interview, how they are behaving, how they are depicting their plan within the organization. So that is the most important thing. Fine. After that, I think I'll wrap up my presentation over here, and I have a couple of points that you should focus upon after this. And the most important thing at the last is start learning, have fun, start learning as much as possible. Try to make sure that you have a 6 months 3 months plan on learning, because until and unless you are not capable, you are not confident, you cannot inspire others. So start learning as fast as possible, and there are now ocean of opportunities on the internet. You can learn as much as you want, right? So hopefully that was a little bit of informative session, and everybody feels motivated after that. And it is important to you know for any of the part, if you are not learning and if you're not going back and learning, then it will not work. So uh, there's one perfect saying, I'm not sure how Da Vinci said it. So knowing is not enough, let's do it. And willing is not enough. Sorry, knowing is not enough, you have to apply it. And willing is not enough, let's do it. So basically, you know today, but you have to apply it somewhere. You have to try with your colleagues, you have to try with your managers, you have to try with this different areas. And this is a very in-depth topic, not I can cover in 1 hour, but I try to cover most of the points that I can think of that is more important. But and second is, if you are here and if you learn, but point is, if you're not applied at your workplace, then you have just understood something which is not relevant to you right now. So make sure you go back home and try to apply wherever you can. That will help you, throughout your journey with this attitude. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, for this insightful and intriguing session.
Thank you.
Before we take our participants' questions, we will be initiating the poll, requesting all participants to kindly share your feedback. While doing so, request all participants to kindly post their questions in the chat box. Once again, I thank all our participants for joining our session today. We have received a lot of inquiry about the participation e-certificate offered by HRAI and GMI. You can claim your e-certificate by sharing your details, name and session attended in an email to the email ID provided in the chat window. Please ensure you do this by end of day today. We will email the e-certificates to you based on the details received. So we'll wait for the answer questions, Mr. Smith. If in case
Yeah.
we're having, we'll go ahead with it.
Yeah. Okay. I think anyone has having any questions, they can raise a hand, or I'm not sure how it's
Yes,
working
yes.
over.
They can put
Or
their
you can.
questions on the chat box. So
Okay.
we'll wait in case.
Yeah. Yeah. Please do throw me most unusual questions.
We had
Get
received
embarrassed over here.
some questions from the this participate. We had got registrations, correct? So we received some of the questions from there. So I'll just
Yeah, for sure.
I'll
For
call it
sure.
out to you. So what good and mature leadership looks like during pandemic? What are those key traits that helped leaders to maintain business continuity without much friction? Few examples, if you can give.
All right. So I'll tell you about myself only. So basically, when COVID started, we were not really sure in March 2020 that how it will work for technology, how it will work for everyone. All right. And we were pretty unsure. Everybody was working from home at that time. And suddenly the infrastructure level also collapses because we had certain clients at that time, during that time, that was on a close security, right? So we cannot move them to the work from home, and the process took a longer time for us, and our billing certainly stops for those time, because we need to take a permission that okay, this is safe for them, because those are the fintech clients, so financial data is more important and those areas. So at that time, point is, first is, whenever you face any time, whether it's a COVID, whether it's war-like situation like Russia Ukraine, or anything that is government policy got changed and your business got shut, or whatever the case it is there. The point is, the most important thing for the any good and mature leader is communication, first to the organization, and second is within themselves. So first is, you have to identify, okay, what are the continuity plan. So in continuity plan specifically, you can focus upon what are the changes it is going to affect on a global level. So you have to start reading about much and more about it. So what we have done is, we have started researching about that, okay, how it is going to work. And then we come to the conclusion that, okay, this will not be the big issue for us, because the technology is going to boom, because everybody is working from home now. Everybody will be ordering, every business who are let's say retail store who are there on the street, they need an app because they cannot sell it without, they cannot do business without that, or anything for a matter. So basically point is, uh, but that understanding is most and most important. First of all, then you have to go to the team and talk with them, okay, because everybody might be facing some their own issue. So when I'm saying a good and mature leader, you have to communicate. So when, even though I'm, we have a layoff sometimes, and it is not, well, it is very common, and it is sometimes you have to get sometimes downsizing on the part, because you are not matching the numbers, you are not matching the part, and you have to go on certain rough decisions which you don't like by yourself. You feel bad, but you have to go with the all heavy heart, but you have to smile and tell them and make them understand why you want to do it. All right, so either you are, look, continuity plan can go in a, either downsizing the company, either upsizing the company, or it can go anywhere. We upsized because of the strategy, but the point is, at that same time we talk with our team that we are upsizing, that is a good news, this is what we are expecting from you, get ready for it, something like that. Even though, so yes, I think communication is the most important thing within a team, to make sure they understand why you are doing this step. Even you are doing anything, you're going this direction or that direction, if they don't understand, they will not follow you.
Rightly answered, Mr.
Yeah,
Smith. So there's one more question. How should an HR leader ensure that diverse teams join hands together and work for organizations' common vision, mission, and objectives during this crisis?
I think I should ask you this. I question you guys, HR guys, for this. Okay, so basically there are a lot of areas where HR can collaborate on a different areas, and let's say there are different industries where people can come together and share the ideas. Like, let's say the most important part is right now. If I talk about the organization, then absconding resources are there, or there are certain areas where people group talent grooming is there. So point is, the inclusive feedback is not there. So there are much more areas, and whenever I'm hiring someone, what I do is I ask their colleagues, I ask their verification system, but that is not a correct way to do it. I If we have an inclusive system, then resources will be more inclusive, their achievement will be more easy to get, and people's growth will be very much, I would say, they don't feel like in a discontinuity in their growth, even though they change the organization or anything. So that's the one thing. Apart from that, the most important thing, where HR people or HR organization helps, specifically when you're saying association specifically, uh, is the value driven ecosystems. Creating a, what you're doing correctly is exactly what I'm saying, to say that trying to make sure the organization is a better place, having a better culture. Okay, because not all organization understand this, and trying to make sure that they implement them, or they try to at least learn that, okay, there is a terminology like that. So I have followed a lot of organizations, I talk with a lot of people, but I would say only 50 to 60% organization who are good at you know business, and also understand their people pretty well, and understand and implement the cultural and value driven ecosystem within the company, where companies value whatever they are believing plus people's value, and they try to embed it within a very good manner, or blend it in very good manner, and they put it across. So I think the most important thing when HR comes together is an education towards different areas. So that is what the best thing I can think of. And also there are other collaborations like resource and everything that we can do on that.
Great. There's one more question, and the last question we can take how leaders can effectively maintain organizational culture in the VUCA times. What all different strategies they need to build.
Okay, I'll tell you very honestly. So basically, uh, during the COVID, as I mentioned specifically on that area, we had a time where we were not able to. We were Every company was not processing our invoices. So in a June or July, the time comes when client was holding a payment because they were not really sure that what time will come. Okay, so they were holding a payment. They were saying that we are not really sure right now that how much we are going to survive or what, because the retail companies are our customers, fintech companies are, and they all were pretty much unsure. So during that time, there were some cash flow issues in the company, because obviously your customer is not paying you, so definitely the cash flow issue comes up. So I would say that during that time, I feel well, I have whatever that we have done in the cultural way, or whatever the seeds we have planted, everybody comes up to us, and I send them a mail, and everybody comes up to me and told me that, hey, Smith, it is not an issue. I completely understand that, and I know you guys, and I know that you never do this with intention. So that makes us really happy. First thing, now how to do that? Okay, so that is something you have to build it first of all, and how to do that. So A is, uh, I will tell you how you are putting a shared vision across the organization. That is the most important. Second is how people communicate with each other. That is the most important, and how inclusive your environment is. Because sometimes what happens is the people's bad experience happens from the middle level, even though you are a correct leader. Okay, but there are middle levels and there are upper levels as well. So training at every leadership level is required, right? So training at every leadership is level is required, and after that, once you are done, so when I'm saying a culture is something where you feel that it is like this is something where I want to walk. So one is their own growth is more important. So how you are inclusive whenever you are sharing the vision. So how you are embodying growth, how they are feeling the friendly nature about the workplace. When you are saying that I have an open door policy, but nobody gives respect when someone comes on open door, and you have to go through the escalation process and everything, and you follow the hierarchies on that. But sometimes open door policy works on good in a good manner with the culture. So open door policies are important. Third and the fourth most important thing is flexibility. Do not over control or micromanage your employees. Never do that, because that is not going to work it. Rather focus on results are more important. Focus on more result driven output rather than the controlling manner. That, hey, where were you? I see you going out of the office, where were you, or something like that. Or I see you not even at desk. That is way micromanage. If in case exaggeration happens, you have to do that. I'm not saying that you should not do it. Someone should not misuse that, but point, it is mostly result driven areas, right? So that is how you build a culture. And like in our organization specifically, what we have done is, usually apart from all the leaves, you can complete a 480 minutes anytime in a day. So it is not something a 10 to 5 job. You can get this flexibility on that specifically. Also, with 2 days in a month, we give them a 360 minutes only. So you have to work for 6 hours only. You have to go to bank or whatever the case. So pointers, we focus more on the results rather than all the other criteria that comes on a compliance. But compliance is important. I'm not saying it is not important, but try to make sure as flexible as you can, so that creates a good environment and good flexible breathable space for each and everyone. Right,
Thank you.
hope it answers your question.
Yeah, I hope the participants have got the answers to the questions. So thank you, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
It has been an honor having you as a speaker for this session on the topic. We are fortunate to be able to witness and work among such a great industry expert like you. Your ideology and perspectives on the topic were absolutely intriguing. I'm sure our participants have had a lot to learn and take away from this session. I sincerely thank Great Manager Institute for their association and support extended. This session would not have been possible without Great Manager Institute, where we are privileged to be working with them on this series. Though we all know about Great Manager Institute, I would want to welcome Ms. Anokhi Gamre, Business Development Analyst, Great Manager Institute, to talk more on Great Manager Institute.
Thank you so much, Faizan. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for an informative and insightful session.
Welcome. Welcome, Anokhi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So my name is Anokhi, and I am a business development analyst at Great Manager Institute. I would take 5 minutes to give you a brief overview of our organization and its offerings. So I'm sharing my screen.
Are you able to share? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not able to share it.
Okay, you have the rights to share.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes. Visible.
Great. So, Great Manager Institute is a sister concern of Great Place to Work India, and we are a 4-year-old organization. And we have researched a lot on people culture, and we've observed that a great organization is always recognized by its managers. We believe that managers are the connecting link between organization practices and the employee experience, because people management impacts the overall organization. If a certain particular manager is performing certain practices, it then inspires the entire organization, thereby improving the performance of the entire organization. So, as mentioned before, in the past 4 years, we have had an opportunity to work with around 28,000 plus managers from 13,000 different companies from various industries like BFSI, IT, healthcare, etc. We follow a proprietary framework in our organization known as Connect, Develop, Inspire. It is a research-based model that helps us measure people managerial effectiveness in the entire organization. Great Manager Institute has two major offerings. First one is the Great People Manager Study, and the second one is Great Manager Certification. Great Manager Certification is a 16-week virtual program that helps an organization to create high trust and high performing teams using the Connect, Develop, Inspire framework. It is our learning and development intervention program. However, on other hand, Great People Manager Study, it captures team feedback on managers' effectiveness. All right. To talk about last year's number, we had around 10,000 managers who had participated in the study from over 4,000 organizations, which ultimately culminated to the top 100 Great People Manager list and top 28 companies with Great People Managers. Coming to the methodology of the study, the study is divided into 2 rounds, round 1 and round 2. Round 1 is the team feedback survey round, wherein we share the survey instrument with all the team members of the participating managers. And this survey instrument entails 17 statements that revolve around the Connect, Develop, Inspire framework. Each statement is on a 5-point scale, and the team members need to assess their managers on this 5-point scale. So towards the end of round 1, there is a specific cutoff, and if the managers meet this benchmark or exceeds this, he or she gets qualified to round 2. And in round 2, we ask them to share the 6 best people practices that they perform in their organization. And scores from round 1 and round 2 are considered to arrive at the top 100 Great People Manager list and top 28 companies with Great People Managers. So this is a basic methodology of the Great People Manager study. Coming to the benefits of participating in the study, the Great People Manager study gives you an opportunity to get recognized as an organization with great people managers, and it also helps in promoting people management in the organization, thereby recognizing great people managers in the organization. The Great People Manager study gives you a detailed overview of your organization's areas of strength and areas of focus under Connect, Develop, Inspire. And we also help you to understand individual managerial profile of the leaders in a particular organization with actionable insights for the same. So So this is a snapshot of the recognition of top 100 great people managers. And apart from that recognition, the top 100 winners profile also gets published on Forbes Forbes India's website and on our official website as well. This further leads to the Great People Manager Awards, which are being conducted by Great Manager Institute towards the end of the year. So the registrations for Great People Manager Study 2022 is now open on our website. I would be sharing the link with you in the chat box itself. Give me 1 minute. In case you all have any questions as of now, you can ask me. And I have copy pasted the link in the chat box. Any questions related to the study or about the organization?
Okay, I just like to put this one point. I've been gone through this process, and I know this is one of the best process I have, gone through to identify the people. So this is just amazing. Even though you are just, even new to the organization or anything, you have to go through it, guys, and you have to go through once to understand. Even though self-evaluation is important sometimes, so to understand where you are, how you can improve, what are the frameworks that actually exist, and what are the things that you are using. Even self-understanding and awareness is the most important area. So this will help all of us, all of you, I would say. So it is important to go through it. And I really enjoyed thorough process last year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anup.
So thank you, Ms. Anuki, for letting us know about Great Manager Institute. And thanks for the benefits extended to HRA members. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Smith, for this beautiful session. We would love to host you again very soon. Thank you. And
Thank you so much, Pleasant.
Also would like to thank all our participants for joining us today. Do join us for our next masterclass tomorrow on the topic Leading People in the Current Times, a session by Ms. Haridas Supriya, Director, Human Resources, Logic Information Systems. That's it from our today's webinar. Hope to see you soon. Stay safe, take care, and bye for now.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you, Anuki. Thank you all.